Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Going on, we're continuing on this marathon late tonight with another late night review. This is the Club of the Man 1993, catching up on content, and we are here for my review of this past week's episode of Monday Night Raw, the June 17th 2024 edition of Raw, and it took place in Corpus Christi, Texas, which I've been there before. Nice little town. We're going to review everything that took place on this Fallout edition from Clash at the Castle. And we are now on the road to Money in the Bank, which is taking place in 2 weeks at Scotia Arena, where it's called, in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We're going to talk about everything that happened on this excellent episode of Raw. We had a lot of great setups, I thought, for Raw. So far, between Raw and SmackDown, which we will, of course, review next, I think the Money in the Bank matches are setting up really good. Most of the people who are in, I actually wouldn't mind seeing them actually win the briefcase. There's not someone so far that, well, there's some that I don't think are going to win, but if they would put the briefcase on them, I can see them doing something with it. We also have the new Intercontinental Championship picture set up as well as to a match I think could be happening, which would be a very, very fresh multi-man match. What else we got here? We have, of course, Liv Morgan continuing her little tactics with the man she said shouldn't be calling someone mommy, but he needs to be called daddy. Anything else I'm forgetting besides the big one? Oh, yes! Drew McIntyre quit! Otis finally turned on Chad Gable, but unfortunately, we heard some bad news regarding Chad Gable this week after the show. Makes me mad, especially with what they set up, unless if they, of course, would do a second chance match. But we'll talk about that, of course, when we get to it. And then, of course, again, that ending. That unbelievable ending. We'll talk about it all in this review of Monday Night Raw. So let's, of course, get right into it. Talk about everything that happened, and then we'll get to SmackDown afterwards. So again, the show was in Corpus Christi. We opened up with a surprise return of Seth freaking Rollins. Yep, I was definitely surprised to see Seth back. Thought he was going to be out for a little while longer. I know he at least got the knee fixed. I don't know if he got any repairs to his back. I'm assuming no. But he is back. He came out and he welcomed us back to Monday Night Rollins. He says he's back for one reason, to be the very greatest of all time. And it seemed like he was teasing jumping into the Money in the Bank ladder match. But then Damian Priest came out and offered him an even better offer. He welcomed Seth back, and he says he looks healthy. He's been wanting to tell Rollins face-to-face that although he cashed in on Drew McIntyre WrestleMania, he actually wanted to cash in on Seth. I respect, though this ain't Monday Night Rollins anymore, because the Judgment Day run things around here now. Seth's like, well, what kind of champion do you want to be? And Damian's response, basically, again, that he's trying to prove himself. He, again, he doesn't want to be known as a transitional champion. And he thinks that he wants to face one of the best, beat one of the best, and prove that. So he offers Seth Rollins a title match at Money in the Bank. And then Rollins is like, are you not setting up an ambush here? And then Priest goes, nope, man to man. Just tell him whenever or not it's on. So Rollins accepts the challenge. And it'll be taking place at Money in the Bank. Which I think is a great match to do at Money in the Bank. And it could be a great match for Damian Priest. However, though, let's be honest here. Damian Priest, again, as badly as I want to continue, as I like that, even though, of course, the fact that they had to sacrifice Drew McIntyre, again, getting screwed in Scotland. But at least this time, there was a story that followed up with it. Even though, again, as I said, storyline-wise, I still think Drew McIntyre should have known better and have asked for some sort of stipulation to prevent CM Punk from interfering in the match. He knew Punk was out to go. So that's a little bit of a problem, but, you know, it is what it is. But I still do like the story of of Damian Priest trying to prove that he is a legitimate champion. And again, it's something that's definitely going to give him the babyface momentum whenever Judgment Day do break up. Which I keep thinking is going to be happening very soon. But let's be honest here. We all know that Gunther is fighting for the world title at SummerSlam, right? I mean, they could do a triple threat. They could do a multi-man match. But if they're not doing that, don't you think the bigger match to do would be Seth Rollins and Gunther? As much as I would like to see Damian hold on to the title a wee bit longer, I can definitely see them putting the belt back on Seth so he can drop the belt to Gunther at SummerSlam. Just my opinion. Unless, of course, they push it off until Bash at Berlin. Well, for Gunther to actually win a title. And Gunther wins the title in Germany, his home country. But we'll see. I think there's a chance Damian could retain. I also think there's a good chance they may put the belt back on Seth. And do Seth and Gunther at SummerSlam. We'll have to wait and see, though. We will have to wait and see. We have Alpha Academy heading to Adam Pearce's office. Chad Gable's there and talks trash at the rest of the Academy for costing him the title, and he wants another match. Pearce tells him how disappointed it must be, and he tells him, though, but you've had plenty of chances, so now you gotta get to the back of the line. And he's like, okay, well, let you hear that tonight. Give me whoever you want. And I had a feeling it was going to happen. And it did. Because Chad Gable took on Braun Strowman. Which, in the past, surprisingly, Chad Gable has had some good matches against Braun Strowman. He is someone that I think can believably beat Braun Strowman with how well he's been booked against Strowman. Strowman, though, just squashed him this time, though. Gable lost big time. And then afterwards, he then berates on the Academy again. He took Maxine Dupree's crutch away from her. And when Otis wasn't looking, Gable was berating Tozawa. And then he slapped Tozawa. As soon as that happened, Otis turns around and he basically pounces on Chad Gable like Keith Lee usually does and knocks him into the corner and tears off the shirt. And he has enough. He walks away. Chad Gable, though, later confronts them in the locker room, and he he basically was just like, what are you guys doing? And Otis tells them that they're leaving and that they quit the academy and that they're done. And as they walk away, Chad Gable says, well, you guys should be done when he says so, but if that's the case, then you're all expelled. And he's going to do something that Otis couldn't do. He's going to go win Money in the Bank. And he will become world champion. Because Otis wasn't able to hold onto the briefcase. Continuity get in there. And it was then advertised that originally next week, it was supposed to be Braun Strowman versus Chad Gable versus Bronson Reed. But we'll address later why that got changed. You know, it was well done. It still got changed, and I didn't like that. Because Chad Gable instantly, right there in that promo, became a favorite for me to win the Money in the Bank ladder match. But I still feel like there may be a chance for him. I'll explain a little later on. Then Judgment Day, we're in the clubhouse, and Finn offers to help Damian and Seth, but then Priest goes, I just want to do it myself. And also, by the way, because last week on Raw, it was meet me at the hotel room. Liv Morgan was passing out her room key for a hotel room to Dominic, and then it was getting juggled around all over Judgment Day, and the last thing we saw was that Finn Balor took it. Of course, Damian wants to know why he took the card. Finn claims he was just trying to keep Dom safe, and which Damian accepts the answer, and that's what he's going to do when he inevitably wins the Money in the Bank briefcase. Balor says he's going to cash in on Cody, and of course they just laugh it off about it. Dom, though, is missing his vest. Oh, I wonder who took it. And then Carlito then teases Dom, but then Priest points out that Carlito has a match to get ready for later on against Dragon Lee, which is the first time the two were going one-on-one since it was revealed that Carlito was the one who attacked Dragon Lee months ago for WrestleMania. We had our first women's Money in the Bank qualifying match. Io Sky, Kiana James, and Zelina Vega. Match was decent. Again, Io is definitely on the rise back up. I see them definitely taking more and more of the handcuffs off of her. Kiana James, though, I'm still not feeling her yet. I'm still not 100% sure what exactly she is bringing to the table. So I'm still not sure about her yet. And then there's Zelina Vega. Which, again, I like Zelina. But even she's starting to feel like damaged goods, too. And then also, during the match, Liv Morgan came out to cause a distraction. She, in fact, is wearing Dominic's jacket. She had the rest of her attire on underneath, don't worry. But I'm a little confused. Because last week, whenever Liv Morgan was obviously distracting Judgment Day, why did Zelina attack Liv? If she was more so, helping, because she was trying to, get in Dom's head, but then she just attacks Liv for no reason. I'm kind of like, okay, why is she defending Judgment Day, basically? I thought it was a strange booking reason, but, it is what it is. Io, though, does eventually win. Of course, that's the only good thing from Damage Control that night. We then have Sami Zayn, Sami Zayn coming out. Still Intercontinental Champion. He's ready to move on from Chad Gable, but he doesn't want to move on from Alpha Academy. But he knows how they feel. Like him with the Bloodline, he didn't move on until he was ready. And he knows that Otis, Maxine, and Tozawa will do the same thing. But of course, now that he's ready to move on, he has to focus on what he's meant to do, and that's defend the Intercontinental Championship. Which then brings out Braun Breaker. he gets there and basically he's like, let's do this. But then Sheamus comes out. And I'm like, uh-oh. He basically said, Sami, if you're handing out an opportunity, give it to your old pal Sheamus. That Intercontinental title is the only title that Sheamus has not won. And he would do anything to get that hands on it. But then Braun pops in and goes, you don't want to get out of... if you'll get out of my way, I'm going to kick your ass. And Sheamus starts saying, you're just a cocky, hot new thing. And WWE has no skin in the game when it comes, to him. And basically he says, that Intercontinental title is mine. And he kept calling him Kid. And then he then tells him, so Kid, get to the back of the line before I make you. And then Sami basically says, okay, how about this? I'm going to talk to Adam Pearce. I want to get you guys a match. Basically, whoever wins faces me. Okay? Set that up for later in the show. Dragon Lee, though, then cuts a promo. He's going to beat Carlito. And they have the match. Was what it was. But again, off of distractions. Carlito does win with a backstabber. Rare win for Carlito. Anything else? Oh yeah, we had Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, the new women's tag champs, who are rarely ever on TV anyways, get interviewed. They talk about what a dream come true was to win the titles in their home country, and that the hard work starts now because they'll take on and take out anyone who comes for their titles. And that's when Shayna and Zoe show up and basically like, yo, we should have won. We'll see though. We also are advertised that CM Punk is going to be on SmackDown this coming Friday. Well, yesterday, as he was. Obviously, that gave us, suspicions. Because he's probably about to get cleared. And Drew McIntyre is out for blood. Because Drew then makes his way out. And he repeats CM Punk's name like 2 or 3 times. Before saying, I can't deal with this anymore. Screw this company. I quit. And he walks off. Adam Pearce tries to stop him. Triple H tries to stop him. And Drew wanted none of it. He is finally just at his boiling point. Because we did see him on SmackDown this past Friday. But of course, can't talk about that quite yet. But we will soon though. After that, we had a match with Damage Control and Katana Chance and Kayden Carter. Match was okay. Kayden and Katana won the match, and afterwards, Io once again says Damage Control has to change, or she'll figure things out herself. Which was that me, God knows whatever. But we will see. It could be a time when Damage Control splits up and goes their own separate ways, or not. Let's wait and see. Braun Breaker and Sheamus had an excellent match. The only problem really I had this match was when I think when Braun went for that avalanche Frankensteiner on the turnbuckle and he slipped. Although of course Sheamus did, catch it and helped him, to kind of roll with it to cover up that it was a botch, which was good to see for sure. But the match ends in a DQ because Ludwig Kaiser, who is feuding with Sheamus, came out to distract him. And this led to everybody kind of getting involved and sounding like a brawl. And then Sheamus ends up winning, though, but by DQ. Afterwards, though, Ludwig Kaiser and Sheamus continued the brawl. And then, of course, eventually, Ludwig walked past where Braun was standing. And he was setting up for that drop kick into the steps for Sheamus. Well, it was funny because you saw a view from up above. And Ludwig went one way. As Ludwig went one way, Braun Breaker went the opposite way. And he speared the crap out of Ludwig Kaiser. And then of course he then goes after Sami. Because he's upset about not getting yet another opportunity. Personally, though, I felt like that segment was set for a very, 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 very fresh Fatal 4-Way. Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker, Sheamus, and Ludwig Kaiser. Be a very, very fresh mid-card match. I hope that happens. But we'll have to wait and see, of course. Of course, Dominic was backstage looking for his vest. He ran to Liv, who was still wearing it. And Liv still won't give it back, and says she'll only give it back if he takes it off herself. Of course, that leaves us wondering, was Liv actually in proper attire underneath that jacket? So, of course, Dom was slowly pulling down the zipper until Damian Priest walks in and interrupts, and he just basically just blocks off Dom from having a little fun with Liv. But, of course, when Dom leaves, Damian asks Liv to give it back and to, settle down. But Liv won't do so. Dom, though, finally gets Liv to take off the vest, and she was wearing like a black tank top underneath it and whatnot. But obviously, I love the little tease where Dom was like slowly pulling down. It's like, this is not going to be as bad as you think it is or whatnot. But, Karrion Kross and Scarlett are still having plans for the New Day. He will face Kofi Kingston next week. Not still just hoping that this does lead to get some momentum for the Final Testament. But also to have I lost my train of thought completely. Also give a new direction though for New Day. Although I'm not gonna put, my faith that that's gonna happen, but it is what it is. Then before we get to the very, very end, we had the main event match was the men's Money in the Bank qualifying match. Finn Balor, Jey Uso, Rey Mysterio. Match was good. Judgment Day came out though to attack Rey. Dom though does win with a. I'm sorry, not Dom. Finn. No, I can't even think now. Jey does win with the Uso splash after Finn hit Rey with the coup de grace. Then right after him came Jey with the Uso splash. Jey gets a win. Definitely a favorite pick to win Money in the Bank. But then afterwards, though, heard the rumblings. Lights went out. And then all of a sudden you start hearing the key playing from Bray Wyatt's theme. And then the door was on the stage. And the door just flew on open. Not gonna lie, when that happened, I was kind of hoping Bray for real was there. But of course, that can't happen right now. The door opens, and a ghostly figure came through, which was very obvious that it was Nikki Cross, who looks to be the new Sister Abigail. And then she points to the door to go inside. And as they went inside and ventured around the whole backstage, it was crime scene, won't lie. There was stuff splattered on walls. There was mostly a lot of heels. Like Gunther, can't remember if Ludwig was, or a few others that, they had kind of made it seem like they had been attacked. And ventures around, but of course the one that makes me mad the most, though, was the fact they attacked Chad Gable. And now apparently Chad Gable will not be in the Money in the Bank qualifying match. He's being replaced by Ilya Dragunov. Which I'm like, dang it! You wish they would have done it. But maybe there's going to be a second chance match. Because I'll say this. If Chad Gable isn't even at least in the match, I am actually going to be a little disappointed. But of course, they ventured to the back. And around one corner, there was one costume. In gorilla position, there was a lot more. And I think there was just one after that. I can't remember. But yeah, and the Wyatt 6 are now back. It's obvious, of course, that Bo Dallas is the whole Howdy. The Rambling Rabbit's definitely Eric Rowan. The other two boys, it's either I I lost my train of thought again. It's starting to hit me a little bit. Sorry, guys. Oh, yeah. Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis are your boys. And Nikki Cross, his sister Abigail. People are saying they think there will be a sixth member, which that's the case is, and it's going to be Alexa Bliss. I'm surprised she didn't return with this reveal, though, as well. But again, although it's hard, we're still mourning the loss of Bray Wyatt. This was still absolutely incredible what Bo Dallas was able to do to continue things on, bring the characters to life, and again, we'll see how they fare on TV for sure. But yeah, that was an excellent show. I gave it an A-. I feel like, though, I am a little tired, so I am going to wait until tomorrow to review SmackDown. But, of course, I will always get these uploaded, and I'll publish them tomorrow as well. And we will roll from there. So, again, between, some of the surprises and crazinesses, I gave this episode of Raw an A-. That ending was what made it want me to give it an A-, because it was unreal. But what are your guys' thoughts on this episode of Raw? Leave your guys' thoughts down in the comments section below. Again, I gave it an A-. Make sure you guys slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content to my channel. Reminder, only my TikTok is active right now. The Twitter and Instagram are currently down. TikTok, if you want to follow me on TikTok, it is the Club of the Man 1993. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. Get some sleep, have a rest of your night, and do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!